the God who was never meant to be worshipped among all divine figures ever imagined by humanity. There is one who defies every definition of godhood. He does not rule from heaven. He does not promise rewards. He does not punish sins. He does not ask for obedience. He sits in silence, ash-covered, detached, unmoved by praise or insult, unimpressed by power or wealth. This is Mahadev. And the greatest misunderstanding in human history is this: Shiva was never meant to be worshipped. He was meant to be understood, because Shiva is not a god in the religious sense. Shiva is a state of consciousness. Shiva is not a personality. He is a principle. Most gods in mythology represent something external: power, control, justice, protection. Shiva represents something internal. He represents that which remains when everything else collapses. In Sanskrit, the word Shiva means that which is not emptiness, not nothingness, but pure potential. Before creation, before identity, before thought. This is why Shiva has no form of his own. He becomes what you project onto him. To the fearful, he is terrifying. To the seeker, he is liberating. To the ego, he is destruction. To the awakened, he is peace. No god in any culture chooses to live among the dead, but Shiva does. Why? Because the cremation ground is where all illusions die. There, wealth has no meaning. Status has no value. Beauty turns to ash. Identity dissolves. The cremation ground is the ultimate truth of existence. Shiva sits there, not because he loves death, but because he is beyond fear of it. He represents the awareness that remains when everything temporary disappears. This is why he is called Mahakal, the one beyond time. Shiva covers himself in ash. Not gold, not silk, not jewels. Ash is what remains after fire has consumed everything. It is the final state of matter. Symbolically, ash represents the end of ego, the death of desire, the impermanence of form, the truth of mortality. When Shiva smears ash on his body, he is reminding the universe, everything you cling to will one day become this. Not as a threat, but as freedom, because once you accept this truth, fear disappears. Shiva's third eye is not a physical organ, it is awareness. The two eyes see the world, the third eye sees through the world. It represents insight, clarity, discrimination. When Shiva opens his third eye, destruction occurs. But what is destroyed? Not the universe. Illusion, false identity, ego, ignorance, attachment. The third eye does not burn reality. It burns misunderstanding. This is why awakening feels terrifying, because something inside you must die for truth to emerge. Destruction sounds negative to the human mind, but in the cosmic sense, destruction is mercy. Without destruction, nothing new could be born. Evolution stops consciousness, stagnates. Shiva destroys, not out of anger, but necessity. He destroys old identities, limiting beliefs, ego structures, false meanings. This is why people fear Shiva, because to meet Shiva is to lose who you think you are. Shiva is the first yogi, not because he practices yoga, but because he is yoga. Yoga means union, union of awareness and existence. Shiva does not chase enlightenment, he rests in it. His meditation is not effort, it is absolute stillness, and from this stillness, the universe emerges. This reveals a powerful truth. Creation does not come from activity, it comes from silence. When the mind becomes silent, clarity is born. When thought stops, wisdom arises. This is the state Shiva represents. The snake represents fear. In ancient symbolism, snakes represent death fear, survival instinct. Time Shiva wears the snake effortlessly. This shows mastery over fear, not suppression, not control, transcendence. The fear that paralyzes humanity becomes ornamentation for Shiva. This is a psychological truth. When fear is understood, it becomes power. Shiva is often associated with cannabis, but this is misunderstood. It was never about intoxication, it was about altered awareness. In ancient times, certain plants were used to quiet the mind, break rigid thought patterns, induce introspection. Shiva represents the state beyond intoxication, a mind so still that it no longer needs stimulation. The message was never consume substances. The message was, free yourself from mental rigidity. Shiva alone is stillness. Shakti alone is chaos. Creation happens when they unite. This is the deepest metaphysical idea in Hinduism. Shiva equals awareness. Shakti equals energy. One without the other is incomplete. This is why Shiva without Shakti is called Shava, a corpse. Consciousness without energy cannot act. Energy without consciousness is blind. Their union is existence itself. Shiva does not live in palaces. He does not follow rules. He does not seek approval, because society is built on identity, and identity is illusion. Shiva represents the freedom that comes when you no longer need validation. He is the god of outcasts, mystics, yogis, and seekers. Those who walk alone, those who question, those who refuse to conform. Shiva speaks very little, because truth is not spoken, it is realized. Words distort, silence reveals. In deep meditation, when thoughts stop, something strange happens. You do not disappear, you expand. That state is Shiva. Shiva does not promise heaven. He does not promise happiness. He promises freedom. Freedom from fear of death, fear of loss, fear of insignificance, fear of the unknown. Because when you realize your true nature, nothing can threaten you. Shiva is not sitting on Mount Kailash. He is waiting inside you. In your silence, in your awareness, in the moment you stop running. He is the part of you that observes without judgment, stands alone without fear, accepts destruction as transformation, finds peace in stillness. Shiva is not to be worshipped. Shiva is to be realized. And when you realize him, you understand the final truth. You were never meant to become someone. You were meant to remember who you are.